Gonna post a story of something that's happened to me. Live in South Africa. This happened back when I was 16. The local church organized a youth camp to a place called Dundee, a farm town in South Africa. We're gonna be staying on a farm that gets used for school excursions and things like that. We get there on Sunday night and everyone is pumped for a good time. Some kids from the local area come camp with us along with a few kids from other big cities. There's like 62 campers. Girl and boys get split, so no funky business. Us guys spend the night getting to know each other and telling funny stories. Eventually we start telling stories trying to scare the hell out of each other. My one bro tells the guys about the Bloody Mary legend. The local kids are in a pretty remote area, so this creeps the shit out of them and laugh about it. Back then it was about the time Harry Potter was popular, and being the bundle of sticks that I somehow ended trying to learn parcel tongue. I knew a little Latin from some of the hymns, so I missed random words and hissed and scared the shit out of everyone. Some of them got so mad they decided to sleep. Then my one bro tells the story about a South African urban legend called the Tokolosh. Apparently it's this guy who basically wanders around haunting people. Once he starts haunting you, he never leaves you alone. He'll come up to you in the middle of the night and stare at you sleep for 3 nights in a row. If you wake up, he kills you. Accounts on how you die vary from him taking your soul to cutting out your heart. Now I might be a black guy in South Africa, but I was raised by my white dad and a black mom who was raised by her Portuguese grandma. I have little knowledge about South African folklore. I laugh it off, but it seems everyone but me knows about the Tokolosh and they are visibly creeped out. We all go to bed right then. The next day some of the guys tell their girlfriends about what we did that night, and it seems the girls did something similar. We get split into groups, 4 girls 4 boys. We get told we're gonna be doing some activities and we have to compete against each other. To hell with that, we just want to have fun. That afternoon my bro needs the restroom and the closest one has no working lights. He goes in and starts doing his business. I wait 3 minutes and then decide to prank him. I turn the water on in one of the basins and go to the door and scream Bloody Mary twice. Bro flips his shit and runs out pants down, and I start laughing at him. I was an asshole. He laughs it off and goes back to finish, but I do this to him 3 more times. I was a real asshole. He won't go with me afterwards anymore. That evening we're all sitting around a campfire and telling more stories. I do the parcel tongue thing again and scare some of the girls. We laugh. One of the counselors tells us a story about the Tokolosh and claims that some farm workers living nearby had died because of him recently. We call nonsense. He takes us to a fenced clearing about 100 m from the dorms, and there are, no joke, graves there. We see 4 graves that look new. We nope the hell out of the and collectively decide to go to bed. The next morning some of the girls complain that I was crawling around their ceiling, my parcel tongue impersonation, but I was legitimately asleep, and the counselor lets them know that there is no space in the ceiling to crawl around and it's impossible to get from the boys' dorm to the girls' dorm because you have to go through the counselor's rooms. Then someone asks if it wasn't Rick, then who was it? We're all starting to freak out. That whole day we're all just joking about it, but the local kids don't want to talk about what's happening, but finally one of them tells us that this is how some of the Tokolosh stories go. Then he asks if any of us have messed with any type of ritual. I tell them that I did the Bloody Mary thing but never finished it and kept swapping it out with Biggie Smalls, and some other stuff just as a joke. He says it might have had an effect but doubts it. We get told that we have to pack our sleeping gear because we're gonna move locations after climbing a large hill the next day. That night one of the guys wakes up feeling cold and wants to close the window, but none of the windows are open. He looks out and sees a shadow moving near the small cemetery. He flips his shit and wakes us up. We see the shadow moving around and nope so hard we actually start praying. I'm not religious, but folk that I prayed like a choir boy. The shadow moves in the woods and we basically huddle till morning. We were so scared we were pissing in buckets so we wouldn't have to go to the restrooms. Morning finally comes and nobody's want to talk. I ask one of the girls why they are so quiet, and it seems they've been hearing the parcel tongue-like voice. We tell them about the shadow, and it seems they heard the voices around 1:26 till 2:56. We saw the shadow at 3:05 and it left at 3:13. We're all shitting ourselves but start chilling out because we remember we're moving camp locations. We're gonna ride a tractor pulling a bus-like trailer to the base of the hill, but it breaks down halfway there. We leave it and walk the rest of the way. We see the tractor heading back and realize it was a prank to make us walk and stop being lazy. Fuck it, we just want to get this over with and go back so we can move. The hill takes so much longer to climb than we expected, but we push on. It takes 7 hours for the whole group to make it. At the top there are tents set up. Our sleep gear is there. They tell us that we're gonna spend the night there. Screw that. We want to nope all the way home, but it's dark and cold. Even if we get back, there's nowhere else to go. A few of the guys get together and come up with a SHTF plan. We decide that we're gonna grab girls from out group and bail all the way downhill on our own. To hell with the rest of the group. Planning it out calms us down, and we even start joking around again. We're all chilled after being there a few hours and sitting around a campfire. One of the camp cooks tells us that his son died recently. We ask about it, and turns out his son is one of the people who was allegedly killed by the Tokolosh. Well, so much for calming down. We decide that going to bed is the best way to go. We go to bed at 9. At like 1, 3 of us wake up and it's real goddamn cold. I look up and realize that I'm not in the tent. My cushion, sleeping bag and me are out in the open. Ha ha ha, real funny guys. We move our stuff back into the tent, but the other guys have no idea why we're outside. We go back to sleep, but an hour later same thing happens, but this time there are 7 of us including girls outside. I realize that it's only us who made the SHTF plan. We told no one, not even the girl we were gonna save. WTF. As we're taking our stuff back in, we see a shadow moving a girl out of her tent. I want to nope out of there, but I can't move. My bro starts yelling, and that makes me start yelling too. The girl wakes up and screams. The shadow run into the woods. Counselors decide to call for transport so we can leave, but the tractor is broken for real now. One of my brothers asks about the plan, but I tell him that the plan blows. Why would we risk going up by ourselves into the dark? Besides, things aren't at SHTF yet. We decide to arm ourselves with sticks and rocks. No one has any weapons. We are all too scared to sleep. We see a shadow moving in the distance, but it didn't come closer than that. We also hear the parcel tongue-like voice till near dawn. At first light we pack up in silence and nope our way down to base camp, call the guy who brought us here and tell him we all want to go home. That shadow was the closest thing to something /X/ I'd ever seen. It kept changing, and for some reason I have trouble recalling what its face looked like. I later heard that those who see a Tokolosh never remember its face, just a shadow. I avoid dark alleys and never go in a woods. I don't know what it was, but I don't want to find out. Why did it take us out the tents? Why just us who'd come up with the plan, the girls we were gonna save?